না না, ওয়েব 3 না, ওয়েব 2 তে আছে। একটা দুটো ওয়েব 3, মানে ওদের 5-6টার মতো ছেড়েছে, ওর মধ্যে একটা বা দুটো ওয়েব 3, বাকি সব করে নর্মাল ওয়েব 2। এআই টিআই আছে একটু, কিন্তু ওয়েব 3। গিটহাবে না, আমি একটা ওই বলছিলাম না, সেই একটা ছেলে, তোমাকে একবার ভিডিও দেখেছিলাম, রোহান ইয়ের নাম বলে। ও ওই ডোরা হ্যাক্সে দিয়েছে, ডোরা হ্যাক্স একটা কোম্পানি দিয়েছে। টোটাল $10,000 বাউন্ডি টোটাল। ওটা ভাগ ভাগ করে আছে অনেকে। হ্যাঁ দিচ্ছি দাঁড়াও। তুমি স্কুল গেছে, কলেজ গেছিলে? কালকে যাবে নাকি? হুম? এমনি যাবে মানে? ও, কি করতে? ও হ্যাঁ, স্কলারশিপেরটা বলছি, তাহলে আমারও তো হবে, তাহলে আমি কি এখন দেবো? কারণ আমার তো ফিস দেওয়া হয়ে গেছে, কি করবো আমি? কি করতে হবে, প্রসেসটা বলো না একটু। কি? না, এই বছর এই বছরটা নেবো, মানে এই যে এই ইয়ারটা যে বাকি আছে। ঠিক আছে, আর কি লাগবে? কোথায় অ্যাপ্লাই করবো? কলেজে যেতে হবে বলছিল অনেকে। নাম বল আর একবার। SDMC স্কলারশিপ। SVMC, আচ্ছা। SVM, আচ্ছা, স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ কলেজ স্কলারশিপের কথা বলছো? না আমাকে ওটার জন্য আমার গুরুকুলে কেন যেতে হবে তোমাকে তাহলে? ও আচ্ছা, ওটা কি মানে, ওটা ওটা হচ্ছে 18,000 টাকা যেটা, তাই তো? না,
Yo,
আরেকটা বলছিল যে 1 বছরের পুরো দিয়ে দেবে টাকা, ওই যে স্কলারশিপের একটা বলছিল আজকে। কলেজেই বলছে নাকি করেছে। হুম, ফুলবম স্যারের সাথে কথা বলবো। ও এইটা, হ্যাঁ, স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ ওটা। তুমি কি বাড়ি থেকে অ্যাপ্লাই করেছিলে নাকি এটা ইয়েতে গেছিলে, সাইবার ক্যাফেতে? বাড়িতে নিজে থেকে অ্যাপ্লাই করেছিল নাকি সাইবার ক্যাফেতে গেছিল?
কোনটা? স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ?
হ্যাঁ।
নিজে থেকেই বাড়িতে বসেই করে নিতে পারি।
কি কি লেগেছিল তোমার? টেনের সার্টিফিকেট লেগেছিল, কিন্তু টেনের 10-12?
দেখ না, আমার মনে নেই, আমি তো ফার্স্ট সেমিস্টারে করেছিলাম।
ও আচ্ছা,
রিনুয়ালে ওসব বারে বারে
ঠিক
দিতে
আছে।
হয় না, রিনুয়ালে শুধু ওই একটা সার্টিফিকেট জমা দিতে হয়, ওটা ওরাই দেয়, ওটা ওই সই করে। এবার নতুন দিয়েছে, তার আগের বারে তোর কি ছিল, ওই প্যান কার্ড, আধার কার্ড এইসব কিছু দিতে হয় মনে হয়। যাই হোক, রিনিউ করলে কলেজে গেলে সই করে পাস করিয়ে দেয়, ব্যাস, তারপর টাকা ঢুকে যায়।
বছরে 18,000 না মাসে? বছরেই হবে অবশ্যই। আর ওই কলেজেও গুরুকুলেই যেতে হবে তো? ঠিক আছে, আমি করে নেবো, আজ করে নেবো। কালকে আমি যাবো না কলেজে, বৃহস্পতিবার তো ছুটি আছে।
লেটস গো। আজকে
দেখো পাঠাচ্ছি।
today I will finish the next day's playlist and finish up taking the questions.
পাঠিয়েছি দেখো,
এই
এটা
এখানে
খোলো।
নয়, ডিসকর্ডে পাঠা।
দেখো পাঠিয়েছি। স্ক্রিনটা দেখি।
কি বলছিস?
হ্যাঁ ওইটা খোলো এবার
দাঁড়া
লিঙ্কটা
route.
পাঠিয়েছি ডিসকর্ডে।
কি এটা 10 ইউএসডি
বাউন্টির
হ্যাকাথন তো
হ্যাকাথন না, ও তো হ্যাকাথন লেখা নেই, ওটা
ইন্টিগ্রেশন
আমি
অফ এআই
দেখেছি। দেখো
ইনটু টি
বাউন্টির।
সায়েন্স
আর এগুলো এটা রিসেন্ট দেখো একজনও সাবমিট করেনি, 0 0 0 0 আছে সব। মানে এটা একটা তুমি এখানে লেখা আছে তুমি 10টা মানে তুমি 10খানাতে অ্যাপ্লাই করতে পারবে একবারে, বুঝতে পারলে?
হুম
দেখো এখানে প্রথমেই প্রথমটা ইন্টিগ্রেশন এ ইন্টু ডি সাই, মানে প্রথমটাই শুধু আছে, বাকি দেখো সব এই
দেখ-
এআই এর আছে। মানে মানে তোমার নেই হচ্ছে, ওয়েব 3 নেই।
আচ্ছা এটা কি কয়েন কোনো
না ওইটা আলাদা, ওইটা আমি বুঝতে পারছি না, বাট বাকিগুলো কিন্তু ইউএসডিসি মানে
এটা
ইউএস ডলারে
কয়েন
আছে।
একটা
500 হ্যাঁ ওইটা কয়েন ওইটা, বাট বাকিগুলো না, দেখো না বাকিগুলো
আরে
ডলারে
এটা
আছে।
ইউএসডিটি তো
তা ওটা কি ডিফারেন্ট নাকি?
ইউএসডিটিও তো কয়েনই একখানা
ইউএসডিটি ডলারে কত দেখো, আমি তো জানি না।
ও না ওটা ইউএসডিসি না ইউএসডিসি টেথার ইজ আ নোন স্টেবল কয়েন হ্যাঁ এটাও তো একটা কয়েনই ক্রিপ্টোকারেন্সি
হ্যাঁ বাট ওটা তোমার ইয়েতে চলে আসবে না, এটা তো আসলে সবাই করে তো এখান থেকে, তো বিরাট
ওটারও
বড়
দাম
প্ল্যাটফর্ম
মোটামুটি ওই
সুপার টিম।
86 টাকায় সেমই
হ্যাঁ ঠিকই তো আছে ওটা। তোমার ক্রিপ্টো ওয়ালেটে আসলে তুমি উইথড্র করে নিয়ে তোমার ব্যাংকে, সিম্পল।
হুম ডোজ
আমি বলছি যে ওখান থেকে করো করো, চলো করি একটা ওখান থেকে, অনেক
আচ্ছা
কটা আছে। শিখতেও পারবো। ওরা ওয়েব 2 মানে ওয়েব 3 ওরা নেই, ওটা ওয়েব 2ই আছে।
এক বছরে 5 টাকা বেড়েছে মাত্র
আবার পটি পাচ্ছি, পটি করে আসি।
হুম।
শুয়ে পড়েছিলাম তো, পরে আসছি।
লol
আমি এমনি ফোনে আছি, আমি আসছি কম্পিউটারে।
कोई नहीं चलो ठीक है
Welcome back. Previously, we learned how to navigate to different routes.
কত নম্বর 21 পার্ট নেম হয়ে গেছে আমার নাইস
Using the link component. While the link component is generally sufficient, there are situations where we need to programmatically navigate to a specific route. For example, imagine you're placing an order on Amazon, and upon successful form submission, you're redirected to the order confirmation page. This functionality is crucial for various types of form submissions and is commonly required in production applications. In this video, we will explore how to programmatically navigate using the app router. Although we don't have an e-commerce website or a form to submit, let's assume that we do and implement a button click handler that will navigate us to a different route within our application. For this example, when the user clicks the Place Order button on the Order Product page, we will navigate them to the home page. Back in VS Code, let's first create the Order Product route. Inside the app folder, create a new folder, order-product. Within this folder, create a page.tsx file containing a React component. The component name is order product, which returns an h1 tag, order product. Now let's add a button to this page. Let's wrap the JSX with React fragment, and after the heading, add a button, place order. Next, add a click handler to the button using onClick and assigning a function handleClick. Let's define the handler function. Const handleClick is equal to an arrow function where we simply log to the console, placing your order. Let's assume the order was placed successfully. After the log statement, the user should be navigated to the home page. To achieve this, we will rely on the useRouter hook. At the top, import useRouter function from next/navigation. Within the component, invoke the function and assign the return value to a constant called router. Const router is equal to useRouter. On this router, access the push method, passing in the required route as an argument. In our example, we want to navigate to the root home page after placing the order. So within the click handler, router.push/. If we now head back to the browser and navigate to /order product, we see an error. UseRouter only works in client components. Add the useClient directive at the top of the file to use it. This is a common theme you will encounter when using hooks in your components. So in page.tsx, at the top, use client. Returning to the browser, you should see the order product heading and the place order button. Clicking on the button will navigate you to the root of the application. This is essentially how you can programmatically navigate with the app router. Currently, we are passing / as the argument to router.push, but you can use any valid route you have used in the href attribute of the link component so far. This means you can navigate to nested routes, dynamic routes, and even catch-all routes. As a side note, if you want to replace the history instead of pushing the route onto the stack, you can use router.replace. This behavior is similar to setting the replace prop to true on the link component. Additionally, you can use router.back without any arguments to navigate back to the previous page in the browser's history stack. You can also use router.forward to navigate forward to the next page. Thank you for watching. Please to navigate forward, hence use replace instead of pushing the route onto the stack, you can use router.catchall routes. As a side note, if you want to replace the history instead of pushing the route onto the stack, you can use router.replace. This behavior is similar to setting the replace prop to true on the link component. Additionally, you can use router.back without any arguments to navigate back to the previous page in the browser's history stack. You can also use router.forward to navigate forward to the next page. Thank you for watching. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Now that we have a good idea of layouts and navigating across pages in the application, in this video, let's take a look at another special file Next.js provides as part of the app router, and that is the template file. To understand template files, let's quickly revisit layouts to understand a specific behavior. In our app router, we have an auth route group. This has a layout file to navigate across 3 different links: register, login, and forgot password. What I'm going to do is add an input element to gather some data from the user. What we gather isn't really important. We just need some state within the layout. At the top, import useState from React. Within the layout component, let's invoke useState, call it input. The setter function is setInput, and the initial value is an empty string. For the JSX, just before navlinks, let's add a div tag, an input element, where we set value is equal to input, and onChange is equal to arrow function, where we get hold of the event and call setInput, passing in event.target.value. Again, it does not matter if it's the first name or email we are gathering. We just need state within the component. With this in place, let's head to the browser. Navigate to /register. Now the input styles make the element not visible, but I can assure you it exists. I'm going to fill in code evolution as the text. Now I want you to observe the input value when I navigate from the register route to the login route. You can see the state is preserved. This is because layouts only mount the part representing the content of the newly loaded page, but keep all the common elements untouched. Layouts don't remount shared components, resulting in better performance. A majority of the time, this is the behavior you need. However, you might come across a scenario where you need the layouts to create a new instance for each of their children on navigation. Example scenarios include enter-exit animations for pages, or running a side effect using the useEffect hook when the route changes. For such situations, you can use the template file as replacement of the layout file. Templates are similar to layouts in that they wrap each child layout or page. But with templates, when a user navigates between routes that share a template, a new instance of the component is mounted, DOM elements are recreated, state is not preserved, and effects are resync hook when the route changes. Just or running a side effect using the use effect hook when the route changes. For such situations, you can use the template file as replacement of the layout file. Templates are similar to layouts in that the wrap is mounted, DOM elements are recreated, state is not preserved, and effects are resynchronized. A template can be defined by exporting a default React component from template.js or template.tsx file. Similar to layouts, templates also should accept a children prop which will render the nested segments in the route. Back in VS Code, all we have to do is rename layout.tsx to template.tsx. In the browser, we can re-enter code evolution and navigate to forgot password. You can see the state is not preserved anymore. This is the significance of the template file in the new app router. On a side note, it is possible to include both layout.tsx and a template.tsx file. In such a scenario, the layout renders first, and the layout's children is replaced by the component exported from the template file. Templates are not a common requirement, and you should always rely on layouts for shared UI. But if a need does arise for you to use templates, you now have a better idea on how to use them right. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So far, we have come across several special files such as page.tsx, layout.tsx, template.tsx, and notfound.tsx. In this video, let's explore another special file called loading.tsx. This file allows us to create loading states that are displayed to users while a specific route segment's content is loading. The loading state appears immediately upon navigation, giving users the assurance that the application is responsive and actively loading content. Let's dive into VS Code and understand how it works. To create a loading state, we simply need to add a loading.tsx file to the designated folder. For instance, let's consider implementing a loading state for the blog route segment. Loading.tsx, where we default export a component called loading that returns an h1 element with the text loading. This file will automatically wrap page.tsx file and all its nested children within a React suspense boundary. If you're new to the concept of suspense, don't worry about it. If we return to the browser and click on the blog link in the home page, we should very briefly see the loading text from loading.tsx, which will be automatically replaced by the blog content when it finishes rendering. In our example, we only have a loading text, but in real-world applications, loading states can be designed in various ways. You can use loading indicators like skeletons and spinners, or display a small but meaningful part of the upcoming screen, such as an image or a title. The choice is yours, depending on how seamless you want the user experience to be. Just remember to place the loading.tsx file in the designated folder. Now, there are two significant benefits of using the loading UI feature. First, by leveraging this feature, you can display the loading state as soon as a user navigates to a new route. This immediate feedback reassures users that their action has been acknowledged, reduces perceived loading times, and makes the application feel more responsive. Second, Next.js allows the creation of shared layouts that remain interactive while new route segments are loading. This means that users can continue. Just remember to place the loading.tsx file in the designated folder. Now, there are two like skeletons and spinners, or display a small but meaningful part of the upcoming screen, such as an image or a title. The choice is yours, depending on how seamless you want the user experience to be. Just remember to place the loading.tsx file in the designated folder. Now, there are two significant benefits of using the loading UI feature. First, by leveraging this feature, you can display the loading state as soon as the user navigates to a new route. This immediate feedback reassures users that their action has been acknowledged, reduces perceived loading times, and makes the application feel more responsive. Second, Next.js allows the creation of shared layouts that remain interactive while new route segments are loading. This means that users can continue interacting with certain parts of the application, such as a navigation menu or sidebar, even if the main content is still being fetched. By following the loading UI convention, you ensure that loading states do not obstruct the functionality of shared layouts, providing a smooth and uninterrupted user experience. But that is about layout.tsx for instant loading states in the new app router. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back. So far, we've explored a variety of special files in the new app router, such as page.tsx, layout, template, not found, and loading. In this video, we will dive into another vital part of our application, namely error handling, through a special file named.
Yeah, bro, I'm learning Next.js from a tutorial basis because I have my interviews, right? So I'm taking notes on each topic and I'll try to figure out those.
Error.tsx. Let's dive deeper and understand how it works. Currently, our application works perfectly fine when we navigate to localhost 3000/products/1/reviews/1. It displays the first review for the first product. This URL maps to a file named page.tsx in the review ID folder, rendering the page correctly in the browser. However, errors are inevitable. For instance, a failed network request trying to fetch a review could occur. Let us introduce an error scenario in our review ID page. Outside the component, we define a function getRandomInt to return a random integer between 0 and count 0 inclusive. Inside the component, we invoke this function, passing in 2 as the argument. The function will return either 0 or 1, which we store in a constant called random. If the return value is 1, we throw a new error saying error loading review. Now, back in the browser, and after refreshing a few times, an error is thrown when the random number is equal to 1. Unhandled runtime error along with our error message, error loading review. This happens in development mode. Let's build our application and try the same in a production environment using npm run build and npm run start. So cancel the development server, Control C, npm run build to build the application, and npm run start to start the build application. Now, when we refresh, on encountering the error, the browser displays application error. A server-side exception has occurred. In the terminal, we see you might have guessed this error. In the terminal, we see the error message we have thrown. Error loading review. As you might have guessed, this is not a good user experience. The error message doesn't help the user understand what went wrong or what to do next. Moreover, an error in a deeply nested component like review ID breaks the entire application. A better approach is to handle the error gracefully, affecting only the concerned segment while keeping the rest of the application functional. That is where the error.tsx file comes into play. In the review ID folder, create a new file named error.tsx. Here, we define a component called error boundary. So export default function error boundary to wrap around our page.tsx file like an error boundary. This component simply returns a message saying error in review ID. We start the dev server, npm run dev, and reload the page until we hit the error. But before we even reach the error, we see that we have a problem. Error.tsx must be a client component and the useClient directive at the top of the file to resolve this issue. We've encountered this before, so let's add useClient. Error boundaries have to be client components in Next.js. Reload the page a few times, and now we see error in review ID, which is the text from error.tsx. The rest of the UI remains unaffected. Ideally, this error.tsx component would have a better UI matching your application's theme, but you get the idea. Now, this component can also receive the error object as a prop to display more information. So we destructure error.
God. God. হ্যালো, হ্যালো। ঠিক আছে? অলরাইট স্যার। হ্যালো। হুম, হুম। Hello, I am under the water.
Error is of type error, and we replace the hard-coded text with error.message. Application's theme.tsx component remains unaffected. Ideally, this error.tsx component would have a better UI matching your application's theme, but you get the idea. And this component can also receive the error object as a prop to display more information. So we destructure error, error is of type error, and we replace the hard-coded text with error.message. Back in the browser, you can see the error message is now error loading review. This is the message we threw in our component. Here is a list of what error.tsx file does in the new app router. Automatically wrap a route segment and its nested children in a React error boundary. Create error UI tailored to specific segments using the file system hierarchy to adjust granularity. Isolate errors to affected segments while keeping the rest of the application functional. And add functionality to attempt to recover from an error without a full page reload. Now that we have identified all the special files in the new app router, here is an image from the documentation that shows the component hierarchy for all the special files in a given.
ওকে, দাদা ইনস্টাগ্রাম পেজটা বানিয়েছো? দেখি। হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ করে নাও। আর কাসুকাবে.com আছে নাকি দেখবো একবার, কাসুকাবে.com বা কাসুকাবে.com থাকবে না আমার মনে হয়। হোস্টিং করে দেখি। তো ডোমেন। আছে, কি বলো? হ্যাঁ, 500 টাকা। ঠিকই তো আছে। কি করবে বলো এবার? আর কাসু কাপে যেহেতু, কাসু কাপে একটা ইয়েও আছে না, যে আমরা ছোটবেলায় সবাই দেখতাম। ভালোই, দেখো আমার মনে হয় কাসু কাপেটা দিয়ে ভালো হবে, ঠিক আছে? হ্যাঁ, কারণ কি, দেখো, আমরা অত অত তো হাই লেভেল পপুলার হবো না যে 1-2 মিলিয়ন পপুলার হয়ে যাবো, ওরকম তো হবো না। হ্যাঁ, 5K 10K এরকম হয়তো মানে ইয়ে রাখতে হবে যে এইটুক যেন হয়ে যায় প্রথমে, ঠিক আছে? তো অত তাড়াতাড়ি কেউ আমাদের নোটিস করবে না, মানে ওরকম কপিরাইট মারবে বলে, ঠিক আছে? দিয়ে দাও, কাজ সুগার এনার্জি দিয়ে দাও। ঠিক আছে। হ্যাঁ, দেখি। কাছে সিটি ইন জাপান। সিটির উপর কোনো কপিরাইট হয় না আমার মনে হয়। কাসুকাবে তো স্কুল ছিল, কাসুকাবে স্কুল। হ্যাঁ, কাসুকাবে, কাসুকাবে বলে কিছু নেই। কেন কেন? কেন কেন? যা বাবা, এই আবার কি? খুলতেই দেন। কি? হুম, আচ্ছা। কি পোস্ট করবো? এআই জেনারেট মানে? দাদা, কেউ ঢুকলো? হ্যালো? হুম। ও, বুঝতে পেরেছি। ঠিক আছে, চলো স্টার্ট করি। আরে ল্যান্ডিং পেজ বানাতে হবে, ল্যান্ডিং পেজ। পেজ বানাতে হবে তো? কেন? কি হচ্ছে? আমি কি বেরিয়ে যাচ্ছি বারবার? কেন?
Folder. From the top, we have the layout component followed by the template component. Next, we have an error boundary component from error.tsx, which handles runtime errors. After that, we have a suspense boundary from loading.tsx,
হ্যালো, হ্যালো।
another error boundary component from notfound.tsx, which handles the scenario when the resource is not found. And finally, we have the page component. All right, with this setup, we are better prepared to handle unexpected errors in our application. In the upcoming videos, we
হ্যালো।
will dive deeper into error handling.
আচ্ছা, ঠিক
Thank
আছে।
you for watching. Please consider
কি
subscribing to the
আবার?
channel. I'll see you in the next one.
আরে না, এখানে বারবার আমার এখানে টিরিং 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 হচ্ছে, আমি তাই ভাবছি কি হচ্ছে এটা।
In the previous video, we learned how to gracefully handle errors using the special file error.tsx. However, some errors may not be serious and could be fixed by simply trying again. In this video, we will learn how to recover from such errors. Let's get started. The error boundary defined in error.tsx file comes with a handy prop. It receives a reset function, which we can destructure along with the error object. Let's also specify the function type. In the JSX, we can add a button that triggers the reset function on click, offering a way to retry rendering the component in page.tsx. Button, the text is try again. On click, we invoke reset. To ensure that we can recover on client side, we need to convert our page.tsx to a client component as well. So add use client at the top of the file. Now heading back to the browser and reloading until we hit the error, we see a try again button alongside the error message. Clicking this button re-renders the review ID component. If the random number doesn't equal 1, we recover from the error and load the actual page. To summarize, executing the reset function attempts to re-render the error boundary's contents. If successful, the fallback error component is replaced with the re-rendered content from page.tsx. This is how we recover from errors in the new app router. Alright, we still have more to dive into regarding error handling, which we will continue in the next video. Thank you for watching, and please do consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back, everyone. Continuing with error handling in the new app router, in this video, we're going to focus on handling errors within nested routes. Currently, our error.tsx file is placed within the review ID folder. Our route hierarchy is somewhat nested, with products being at the top, followed by product ID, and then review ID. The nested nature of these components influences how our error.tsx file behaves. It is important to understand that errors bubble up to the closest parent error boundary. This implies that an error.tsx file will cater to errors for all its nested child segments. By positioning error.tsx files at different levels in the nested folders of a route, you can achieve a more granular level of error handling. Let's look at this closely. Back in VS Code, let's move the error.tsx file from the review ID folder to the products folder. Now, if we refresh the browser until we trigger an error, we see the same error message as before, error loading review. However, this time, the entire products route is replaced by the UI from the error.tsx file. The error from page.tsx in the review ID folder bubbles up to the nearest error boundary, which is now defined in the error.tsx file in the products folder. On the other hand, if we move back the file into the review ID folder and refresh the browser, the featured products section from the product ID layout remains intact and only the review component is replaced by the UI in error.tsx. A more granular level of error handling, as you can see. This shows how error handling operates in nested routes. The placement of error.tsx file plays a crucial role in determining the scope of error handling, allowing for more precise control over which parts of the UI are affected when errors occur. Deeper the placement of error.tsx, more granular is error handling. Alright, join me in the next video where we will explore how to handle errors within layouts. I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back, everyone. In the previous video, we dived into handling errors within nested routes. In this video, let's shift our focus to handling errors within layouts. Now we've understood that an error.tsx file will handle errors for all its nested child segments. However, there is a nuance when it comes to a layout.tsx component within the same segment. The error boundary does not catch errors thrown here because it is nested inside the layouts component. If you recall the visual representation of the component hierarchy for a given segment, you will see that the layout sits above the error boundary. Let's head back to VS Code to understand this better with a practical example. From the review ID route, I will replicate this error.tsx file into the product ID route. So copy and paste it within product ID. Now, in the product ID layout.tsx file, let's emulate a random error throw similar to the logic we have in the review ID page. I will copy the random number generation function and the code snippet that throws an error if the random number equals 1. We will change the text to error loading product. And to avoid any confusion, let's comment out the error throwing code in the review ID route. On reloading the page several times, we come across the error loading product, but there isn't an error boundary to catch it. Our app is now in a broken state. This is an important point to remember. The error boundary will not handle errors thrown in a layout.tsx component within the same segment. To navigate around this, we will need to place the error.tsx file in the layout's parent segment. In this instance, we move error.tsx from product ID folder into the products folder. Now, on reloading the page, when we encounter the error, we observe that our app remains intact and the error boundary JSX renders in place of the products route. The header, footer, and any other UI elements, if present higher up in the tree, are unaffected. The placement of the error.tsx file plays a pivotal role in managing errors efficiently across different segments of our application. If you find these videos helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back, everyone. Starting this video, let's take a look at some advanced routing concepts in Next.js. In this specific video, we will learn what parallel routes are, how to define them, and the benefits they offer when creating dynamic and complex user interfaces. Parallel routes are an advanced routing mechanism that allows for the simultaneous rendering of multiple pages within the same layout. For scenario 7, consider the challenge of building a complex dashboard for a web application. Such a dashboard might need to display various views like user analytics, revenue metrics, and notifications all at once. Traditionally, we would create components for each section and arrange them in the layout.tsx file within an app/dashboard folder. Since we already have a dashboard folder from before, let's create a new one called complex dashboard. So within the app folder, complex dashboard. Here, define a new layout.tsx file. Using regular components, the code might look like this. We have the 3 components corresponding to the 3 sections in the dashboard, and we invoke the components in the JSX. In the setup, the layout automatically receives the default component exported from app/complex dashboard slash page.tsx as the children prop, which is then rendered within the layout. For simplicity, let's assume page.tsx renders just a title complex dashboard. So create page.tsx within the folder and default export a component complex dashboard page, which returns an H1 with the text complex dashboard. Each of the other components, user analytics, revenue metrics, and notifications, which we are not going to define now, represents a specific section of the dashboard, such as a card with the necessary data rendered inside. While this traditional approach of component composition is effective, using parallel routes can achieve the same outcome with additional benefits. So, how do we define parallel routes in Next.js? Parallel routes in Next.js are defined using a feature known as slots. Slots help structure our content in a modular fashion. To define a slot, we use the @folder naming convention. Each slot is then automatically passed as a prop to its corresponding layout.tsx file. In the context of our dashboard example, we would define 3 distinct slots within the dashboard folder. @users for the user analytics section, @revenue for the revenue metrics section, and @notifications for the notifications section. Let's go back to VS Code and define the page.tsx files in each of these slots. Within the complex dashboard folder, create a new folder, add notifications, and within the folder, create page.tsx. Within the file, we default export a simple React component. Similarly, within the complex dashboard folder, create @revenue, within the folder, page.tsx, and once again, a simple React component. Finally, create @users folder, page.tsx, and once again, a simple React component default exported. We have created 3 slots within our complex dashboard folder. Now each slot is automatically passed to the layout.tsx file component as a prop, which we can then use to structure the dashboard page. We will remove the 3 imports, the invoked components, and instead destructure users for the users slot, revenue for the revenue slot, and notifications for the notifications slot. Let's also make sure TypeScript is happy. Now for the JSX, I'm going to paste the code with some inline styles to match the layout from our slide. You can find this code on my GitHub repo, but you can see here we have the children prop, users prop, revenue prop, and notifications prop. I will also create a card component to wrap each of the 3 slots we have just created. In the source folder, create a new components folder with a card.tsx file. Here, define a simple card component. I'm going to paste the code to save us some time. Component name is called card, which we default export. We have defined some card styles, which we have applied to a div element, and this div element wraps the children props. Really simple card component. We will then replace the div tag with this card component in each of the slots. So notifications, page.tsx, use the card component instead of the div tag. You can see here, the component is automatically imported with the help of VS Code. So in revenue, page.tsx, card component, and finally, users, page.tsx, card component. Now, it is important to note that the slots, users, revenue, and notifications are available as props, and we don't have to import them. In the browser, when we navigate to localhost 3000/complex dashboard, we should see our dashboard route with the text complex dashboard and the 3 slots: user analytics, revenue metrics, and notifications. It is also important to note that slots are not route segments and do not affect the URL structure. If you navigate to complex dashboard /users or @users, we don't see the user analytics page. Instead, we have 404 page not found. What you should also know is that the children prop is equivalent to complex dashboard at children slot slash page.tsx. So technically, we have 4 slots in our layout.tsx file. But what is the benefit of building our user interface with parallel routes? A clear benefit of parallel routes is their ability to split a single layout into various slots, making the code more manageable. This is particularly advantageous when different teams work on various sections of the page. Of course, this is the same with the traditional component composition approach as well. The true benefit of parallel routes lies in their capacity for independent route handling and subnavigation. Let's take a closer look at these two. One of the most of the page. Of course, this is the same with the traditional component composition approach as well. The true benefit of parallel routes lies in their capacity for independent route handling and subnavigation. Let's take a closer look at these two. One of the most compelling features of parallel routes is the ability to handle each route independently. This means that each slot of your layout, such as user analytics or revenue metrics, can have its own loading and error states. This granular control is particularly beneficial in scenarios where different sections of the page load at varying speeds or encounter unique errors. For instance, if the user analytics data takes longer to load, you can display a loading spinner specifically for that section, while other parts of the dashboard remain interactive. Similarly, if there is an error in fetching revenue metrics, you can show an error message in that specific section without affecting the rest of the dashboard. This level of detail in handling states not only improves the user experience, but also simplifies debugging and maintenance. Another significant advantage of using parallel routes is their capability to offer a seamless sub-navigation experience within each parallel route. Each slot of your dashboard can essentially function as a mini application, complete with its own navigation and state management. This is especially useful in a complex application such as our dashboard, where different sections serve distinct purposes. Imagine each section of your dashboard, be it user analytics, revenue metrics, or notifications, operating as a standalone entity. Users can interact with each section independently, applying filters, sorting data, or navigating through pages without affecting the state or display of other sections. For instance, in the notifications section, users can switch view from the default view. This interaction allows them to view past notifications that are no longer in the main feed. The ability to toggle between default and archive views and the interactions within each are confined to the notification section alone. The URL in the address bar updates to reflect the current view, ensuring that the link is always shareable and helps the users know where they're on the site. This approach allows for a more dynamic and interactive user experience, as users can navigate through different parts of the application without unnecessary page reloads or layout shifts. To summarize, parallel routes allow simultaneous rendering of different pages within the same layout. Parallel routes are defined using slots. Slots organize content in a modular fashion, making code more manageable. Parallel routes not only simplify code management, but also enhance user experience with independent route handling and subnavigation. But when it comes to subnavigation within parallel routes, there is a very important concept to understand. Let's see what that is in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Welcome back. In this video, we will dive into a crucial aspect of parallel routing in Next.js, which is handling unmatched routes. In the previous video, we learned that subnavigation within routes is one of the benefits of using parallel routes. In case of our complex dashboard, a use case would be navigating between a default list of notifications and an archive list of notifications. Let's go back to VS Code and implement this scenario. First, in page.tsx, within the notifications slot, let's add a link to navigate to the archive notifications view. Import the link component from next/link and modify the JSX. The text is archived and href /complex dashboard /archived. Next, define a new route for the archived notifications with a link to navigate back to this default notifications view. So within the notifications slot, create a new archived folder. This is a regular route folder and not a slot. Within the folder, create page.tsx. Copy-paste the code from the default view and update to reflect the archived view. This is called archived notifications. The text is also archived notifications. Let's change the link text to default and the URL to just /complex dashboard. If we now head back to the browser, we should see the archived notifications link. Clicking on the link will change the URL to /complex dashboard /archived, and the archived notifications view is also displayed. Click on the default link, and we are navigated back to /complex dashboard, and we see the default notifications view. Our subnavigation within the notifications slot is working as expected. With this implementation in place, let us now discuss the main topic for this video, which is unmatched routes. By default, the content rendered within a slot matches the current URL. In our dashboard folder, we have 4 slots. Children, represented by page.tsx, users, revenue, and notifications. All these slots render their defined content when visiting localhost 3000/complex dashboard. However, when navigating to localhost 3000/complex dashboard /archived, only the notifications slot has a matching route. The other 3 slots, children, users, and revenue, become unmatched. When dealing with an unmatched slot, the content rendered by Next.js depends on the routing approach. In the case of navigation within the UI, Next.js retains the previously active state of a slot regardless of changes in the URL. This means when you navigate between the default notifications at /complex dashboard and archived notifications at /complex dashboard /archived within the notification slot, the other slots, children, users, and revenue, remain unaffected. These slots continue to display whatever content they were showing before and are not influenced by the shift in the URL path from /complex dashboard to /complex dashboard /archived or the reverse. In the case of a page reload, Next.js immediately searches for a default.tsx file within each unmatched slot. The presence of this file is critical as it provides the default content that Next.js will render in the user interface. If this default.tsx file is missing in any of the unmatched slots for the current route, Next.js will render a 404 error. For example, navigating to /archived and reloading the page results in a 404 page not found error because there is no default.tsx file in the children, users, or revenue slots. Without the default.tsx file, Next.js cannot determine the default content for these slots on the initial load. Let's take a closer look at the default.tsx file. The default.tsx file in Next.js serves as a fallback to render content when the framework cannot retrieve a slot's active state from the current URL. You have complete freedom to define the UI for unmatched routes. You can either mirror the content found in page.tsx or craft an entirely custom view. In our scenario, to prevent 404 errors when rendering the /complex dashboard /archived route, we have to include default.tsx files for the 3 unmatched routes. For simplicity, we will replicate the content from page.tsx in default.tsx. Now, our complex dashboard layout comprises of 4 slots: children, users, revenue, and notifications. In this layout, only the notifications slot has a designated component for the archived route. To prevent 404 errors for the other slots, when accessing this route, we need to set up default views. The default views should be at the same level in the directory structure as page.tsx. Here's how we're going to do this. First, we're going to define default.tsx within the complex dashboard folder. This will serve as the fallback view for the children slot. Copy from page.tsx, paste it, and prefix default to the component name. Next, in the user slot, define default.tsx, copy paste the code from page.tsx, and update the component name. Similarly, in the revenue slot folder, define default.tsx, copy the code from page.tsx, and change the component name with default as the prefix. This will serve as the fallback view for the revenue slot, and this right here will serve as the fallback view for the user slot. Back in the browser, if you navigate to the archived route and reload the page will load correctly instead of showing a 404 error. And here's what happens. The notification slot will show its specific content from the archived subfolder, as it is the only slot with a component defined for /archived route. The other three slots, children, users, and revenue, will display the content from the respective default.tsx files. These files act as fallbacks for routes without specific content. This approach ensures that you don't accidentally render a route that shouldn't be parallel rendered. To summarize, in parallel routing, content within a slot usually matches the current URL. However, for unmatched slots, the behavior varies based on how the navigation occurs. If navigated from the UI, the slot's previously active state is rendered. On a page reload, Next.js looks for a default.tsx file in the slot, and lacking that, a 404 error appears. Alright, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. In the last two videos, we learned about parallel routes, which lets us simultaneously display multiple pages in the same layout without changing the URL. Before we move on to the next topic, let's briefly discuss about conditional routes. Parallel routes offer a way to implement conditional routing. For instance, based on the user's authentication state, you can choose to render the dashboard for authenticated users or a login page for those who are not authenticated. This is powerful as it enables fully separated code on the same URL. Let's head back to VS Code and implement the scenario. First off, we will create the login slot. In the complex dashboard folder, create a subfolder named @login. Within this folder, create a file, page.tsx. In this file, define and export a simple React component. You can copy a component from another slot rename it to login, and change the text to please login to continue. Typically, you would have a login form here for users to input their details, but for now, this text will suffice. Back in layout.tsx, within the dashboard layout, let's import the new slot through props and also add the type. In the JSX, create a new constant, is logged in, and set it to true. In a real-world scenario, you would probably use a function like getUser or useAuth to determine the user's authentication state. However, to maintain simplicity and focus on conditional routes, we will assume the user is logged in and assign a value of true. In the return statement, we will decide which slots to render based on the isLoggedIn value. So return if isLoggedIn, the current JSX, otherwise, the login slot. If we head back to the browser, you should continue to see the dashboard UI as we have set isLoggedIn to true. If we flip the value to false and head back to the UI, you can see please login to continue. This is the login slot. If you don't see the login card component, please restart the dev server. As you can see, parallel routes allow us to conditionally render pages based on certain conditions, keeping our code well separated under the same URL. This login slot also benefits from independent error and loading states, as well as sub-navigation to a possible sign-up or forgot password route. In the browser, if we navigate to /archived, you can see we have a 404 page not found error. As an exercise, I want you to fix this error based on what you've learned about unmatched routes in the previous video. Let me know in the comment section if you were able to make this work. Alright, thank you for watching. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. The app router in Next.js
けど何か足りないこの胸の空洞ありふれた日々の中で気づかないその瞬間こそ幸せだったと酔いどれハート何を探してるの曖昧な感情が宙を泳いでる消えていく影のように幸せはいつも手をすり抜けてグラスに映る君の横顔それとも自分自身の孤独飲み干した液体の苦さが今日の答えを隠してるみたい当たり前に過ぎた日々が今では遠い蜃気楼のよう僕はまだ夢の中で揺れている現実と夢の間でいつも通りの朝が来るけれど心の中では何か欠けてる気づけなかった幸せの形それを知った時も遅い思い出の中で探してみても戻らないことは分かっているそれでも手を伸ばしたくなるのはまだ君を感じていたいから夜どれハート何に揺れているの君の影追いかけて夜が明ける全てを忘れられないに幸せはいつも手をすり抜けて冷えた夜風が僕を包み込むまるで君の声が耳に触れるよ戻れないと知っているのに歩みを止められないこの足音空っぽなグラス何度も満たして気づけば影も薄れてゆくけどあの瞬間だけは胸に焼き付いて君の存在が今も消えない酔いどれハートさまよい続けて君の影の中で踊り続ける切ないまま色を変えながら幸せはいつも僕の手をすり抜ける夜明けが近づいて世界が目覚めでもこの酔いどれハートはまだ夢の中君に出会えたことそれが全てだから孤独な幸せで終わる夜を抱きしめて君のさりげない声振り返るたびに僕の心の中静かに灯るなんでもない仕草その背中越しに今さら気づく優しさがしみるいない時こそ強く感じる君の言葉が僕を包む見えない愛静かな光それが君の魔法なんだね君の優しさ後で気づくたび胸の奥が温かくなるよ、一緒にいない今愛しさますずっと続けばいいのにねどれだけの日々が流れても君の仕草優しさが残るさりげない言葉に に救われた夜君の影が僕を包む気づけなかったその瞬間たちが今になって心に響くただ願う君がいつまでもそばにその優しさを僕に分けてふとした日常君の残したもの小さな奇跡が胸を締め付ける離れてみてわかるそのぬくもり君の愛がそっと溶けてゆく目を閉じるたび浮かぶ記憶君と過ごした静かな夜がどんな時より輝いているその愛にもっと触れていたい君の優しさ後で気づくたび胸の奥が温かくなるよ一緒にいない今愛しさますずっと続けばいいのにね君がそばにいるそれだけでいいさりげない愛が心を癒す僕が君に与えられるものはその優しさに応える愛だけ君の優しさ永遠に続いてどんな時も消えない光一緒にいないの君の心にある君の愛が僕を照らしてる静かな部屋の隅でチューハイ片手にぼんやりと君からの音を待ちながら期待しないふりしてる自分何も変わらない日々の中でただ揺れるたださまよう戻れない過去答えのない未来君の影が薄れてゆく Call me, call me 消えない想いが僕を縛る Call me, call me どこにも届かない声が響く Call me, call me 冷たい夜に染み込む願い Call me, call me もう一度君に触れたい曖昧な記憶に浸かるたび目を閉じると浮かぶ僕の影いつ戻ればよかったんだろうそんな問いがまた僕を飲み込むチューハイが少しずつ空になる残るのは苦い感情だけもう忘れようなんて嘘君の声が小鳥の奥で響く時計の針が進む尾だけ答えを持たない静けさが嫌ででも逃げられないこの気持ちから君の連絡が来るはずもないのに誰も知らない僕の孤独ただ揺れるたださまよう戻れない過去答えのない未来君の影が僕を縛る Call me, call me 消えない想いが僕を縛る Call me, call me どこにも届かない声が響く Call me, call me 冷たい夜に染み込む願い Call me, call me もう一度君に触れたい君の影を追いかけな 探してリユルに溺れて気づけば心が息を止める未来の形が崩れてゆくたびに過去の記憶が僕を傷つける今の君は遠すぎるそれでも消せない愛が残るメンヘラハート君を追いかけてメンヘラハート何もつかめない信じてるのはここの安心メンヘラハート壊れてゆくよメンヘラなんて思ってる傷つくことさえ愛の証拠僕はまだ君を探してる過去の君が笑う夢を見る夜に沈むこの心の中で何が正しい何が本当君に問いかける声は届かないだけど止まらないメンヘラ当たり前の日々が遠のいて孤独が僕を優しく包むそれでも君がいた記憶だけ僕の心を支えているメンヘラハート君を愛してるメンヘラハート僕をしてゆく信じてるのは過去の安心メンヘラハート壊れてもゆくメンヘラハート君を追いかけてメンヘラハート何もつかめない信じてるのは過去の安心メンヘラハート壊れてもいいメンヘラハート君を愛してる君と目が合うその時ハートになるまるでアニメの中夢みたいな景色胸の中甘い泡立つミルクラテ君の笑顔で世界が溶けてゆく触れた声が波になって広がる君の一言で色が変わる空ふらふわりと漂うこの気持ち君に届けばそれだけでいい恋のミルクラテ甘い幻君と過ごす時永遠のよう揺れるこの気持ち夢を描いてふわふわの愛で世界を包んで君が近づくたびに溶けてゆく心の中で響く音止まらない甘さと苦さが混ざり合う瞬間君が げた空に浮かぶ二人の影夢の中の君に永遠を重ねて君と一緒なら未来がきらめく二人だけの時間終わらないストーリー触れるたび心が踊り出してまるで魔法に語ったみたい冷えた夜も君の声で溶けて柔らかな光が包むこの気持ちいつか覚める夢だとしてもいい君といた時だけは忘れない恋のミルクラテ甘い雫を君と分け合って未来に変える揺れるこの気持ち夢を描いてふわふわの愛で世界を包んで恋のミルクラテ甘く溶けていく君と夢見る夜永遠のようふわふわ暗ゆかま気持ちがいて君の隣で夢の中に行きたい何気ないメッセージいつもの会話の中小さく感じる違和感胸に落ちる影知らない記憶のかけら僕とは違う思い出その声のトーン目をそらす時過去でも未来でもなく並行する今君の心に触れる影は誰と笑ってるの僕じゃない誰か並行する影が君を包んでゆく知らない思い出が胸を締めつける僕の知らない君に触れたくてその言葉の奥にあうる違和感僕の知らない話が絡む時記憶それとも今の誰か心を削る影が深まるたび君の境に僕の居場所はあるのか私じゃない誰かの君だけの思い出触れることのできない世界が一体遠ざかる声地元の冷たいノイズそれでも君を失いたくなくて誰を思ってるの僕じゃない誰か並行する影が君を奪ってゆく知らない記憶が胸を押しつぶす君の知らない僕に触れてほしい誰と話してるの僕じゃない世界で並行する影が君を染めてゆくそれでも君を愛してるこの影の中で 窓に映るあの頃が甘い香りとともによみがる過ぎ去った日々の余韻の中で君の声だけが今も響いてるミルクティーに浮かぶ淡い記憶が心の隙間をそっと包む君がいた日でのその温かさが静かに胸を締め付けるスプーンでかき混ぜたこの感情曖昧に溶け形を失う熱が冷めるたび浮かぶ景色君の微笑みが霞んで消えるカップの底に残る記憶が最後のノックまでまとう逃げられない夜の沈みの中ミルクティーの香りだけが生きてるトゥルルトゥルトゥルテーブル越しに感じた距離感君の言葉が優しくにじむ二人で分け合ったささやかな時間それだけが今も光を放つ冷めた飲み物と冷たい夜にまだ君を探してしまうミルクティーが残す淡いぬくもりが胸の奥で静かに踊ってる触れたくてメれられないその感情が夜の隙間に溶けてくミルクティーを見つめるその静けさに君がくれた時間を思い出す消えない香りが胸を彩りながら僕をそっと包み込む中途半端な気持ちを抱えて君が見てるのはいつも僕じゃない午前2時目の前が揺れる中で一人さまよ夜が少しにじむ雲の隙間に月が顔を出して雨の気配が静かに近づいてくる君を待つのに疲れた夜空戻らない今日と来ない足時計の針だけがあたぱんと進むそれでも立ち止まれない僕がいる薄暗い道の先で足音が響く君が来ないと知りながら振り返るいつもの場所いつもの期待でも影さえ見えないこの夜の始終冷たい風が頬をかすめてゆく雨粒が心の隙間を濡らす手の中の記憶を握りしめたまま僕はまたさまよい続けてる待つことに疲れて向いた空君がいない場所で時間だけが過ぎる忘れたいのに消せない思いがまたこの夜に僕を縛り付ける少しだけ期待した自分が悔しいでもその気持ちすら捨てられない君を待つ心が揺れる午前日戻らない今日と来ない足雨が降り 光が優しくてテーブルの上の白い世界スプーンですくった冷たさに昨日の涙がふわり溶ける君と笑い合ったあの時間ほんのり甘く酸っぱい記憶ヨーグルトみたいな心の奥そっと包む柔らかい感情酸っぱさと甘さがのしわるたび君のぬくもりを思い出す混ざり合う感情のレイヤー曖昧なままでもいいじゃないスプーンの先で描く未来一口で感じる小さな幸せ固まりきらない不安もきっとそのままで愛せる日が来る冷たいけど温かい記憶ヨーグルトのように溶け込む夜の静けさが包み込む空っぽになったピアノの中君がくれたその微笑みが今も私を癒してくれる少しの苦さも大切だから心に刻むその味わいヨーグルトみたいな愛の形曖昧でも確かなこの感覚酸っぱさと甘さが交わるたび君の優しさに触れてる時間が過ぎてゆくけど溶けて広がる君の想いたとえ離れてしまってもその味だけは忘れないヨーグルトみたいな日々の中で感じた小さな幸せのかけら酸っぱさと甘さを繰り返しながら君と私が紡ぐ物語ふとすれ違った見知らぬ人に目を奪われたその瞬間君がいつもつけていたブレスレット同じ光がそこに揺れてたことが少しだけ早くなってでも君じゃないと気づいてしまう見覚えのあるブレスレット記憶を呼び覚ます君の微笑みが不意にこまやるそれでも違う現実が目の前に
ハローকিছুই করিনি পোর্টফোলিওতে কাজ করছিলাম জল খেতে খেতে ভাই জল ভীষণ খেয়ে গেছি ভাই হেঁচকি উঠছে
ただ静かに立ち尽くしているあの日々が蘇る一瞬の幻手首を飾る小さなラが過去と現在をつなぐようでだけど君の影はどこ 君とまた会える日が来るの言葉にできない感情の中で僕はまた何かを探しているすれ違う人の背中を追いかけて消えない君の記憶と歩く見覚えのあるブレスレット心がざわめく遠い記憶が胸を締め付ける君じゃないと分かってるのにまだ追い続けてしまう影見覚えのあるブレスレットその輝きが僕を過去に連れ戻してゆく君じゃないと知りながらも思うどこかで君がまだ笑っていると出会いはふとした瞬間に君の笑顔が全てを変えた偶然が織りなす奇跡の糸、その時から心に友の意が灯る何気ない会話ささやかな時間全てが特別に感じられて偶然だけどそれは必然君といる世界が揺らめくよ、時には涙時には笑顔分かち合えた秘密のきらめき
手を伸ばした先に君がいて心が自然とそばに寄り添う涙の数だけ絆が染まり笑顔の数だけ未来が香る見えないものに支えられながら君と歩んだ日々が息づくもしこの瞬間が形を持てば何も怖くはないと信じられる君と過ごした何気ない日々それが心に魔法をかける一緒に作った思い出のかけら全てが今を彩る光
この先も続く道のりの中で君とならどんな日も越えられる偶然だけどそれは必然君がいるだけで世界が変わる当たり前の景色さえも今深い透明へと溶けてゆく
時が流れても消えない瞬間君と編む物語の折り目を夜明けの中に沈む星のようにかすかに息づく明日を見つめて
偶然だけどそれは必然君と描く未来が踊り出す涙も笑顔も全てを包んでこの感覚が形を持つように 先に残る君のぬくもり甘くて溶けるチョコケーキみたいな触れるたびに壊れそうな心がそれでも君を求め続けるテーブルの上の二つの影が夜の中で溶けてゆくみたいにチョコケーキみたいな関係甘くてほろ苦い瞬間たち一度味わえば離れられないけれど消えてしまう5もな種のように甘さの裏に潜むビタな感情一口で満たされる錯覚のテンション僕らはただのデザートじゃないでも君といると脆くなってしまうフォークを置けば終わる物語それでも手を伸ばしてしまうんだ一度溶けたら戻らない形それでも好きだよこの関係甘いな温度で漂う僕らは甘い香りだけで満たされるふり君の瞳に映るのは何かと問いかける言葉を飲み込んでしまう小さなプレートに収まらない思いがテーブルクロスに溢れ出してゆくチョコケーキみたいな関係壊れても甘さが残る瞬間君といればそれで十分と信じたいけれど溶けてしまう夢夜が終わるたびに思い知るのは君が残した甘さと苦さだけ形をなくしても心に刻まれたチョコレートのような記憶チョコケーキみたいな関係甘くて切ないこの瞬間たち溶けてしまうけどまた会えるかな君の香りがまだ消えないうちに目の前にある小さな宝物触れるたびに赤高くなるけれど握りしめてる手のひらの奥で新しい風が通り抜けてゆくそのままでは進めないというなら大切なものを手放す勇気を捨てることで得られる光があるなら涙を隠しても選ぶよ未来を壊れそうな今の心の中にあるその痛みさえも道しるべになる忘れることは逃げじゃない思い出は消えないまま君が残したその声さえ新しい自分を呼び起こす全て捨てる勇気があれば残るのは希望のかけらだけ風に舞い散る過去を見つめて僕はまた前に歩き出す空っぽの手に新しいぬくもり冷たい風に消えた昨日たちが未来の隙間に光を差し
続いてゆく捨てることで見つけた新しい景色この空の下でまた歌えるならば涙を拭いたその瞳に映るのは失うことで掴んだ未来の光大切なものを捨てる勇気があれば僕はもう一度明日を夢見られる手放したその先に何が待つのかを確かめるために歩き続けてくゆく夕暮れ色の空がにじむ君と歩いたあの日の道風に揺れる声の記憶が耳元でそっとささやいてる消えそうで消えないぬくもり心の奥で明かり続ける